So today I want to go off the beaten track of the Veeam demos and the Veeam product demos, because I think, especially last week here in the UK, a lot of schools were closed because of the pandemic, and something that myself and Jason Benedici has been really focusing on is, well, there's a lot of technical poverty out there, or not even, that's kind of the wrong thing to say, but no, is there's a lot of households out there that maybe do not have access to the same devices that maybe we do within the IT industry. And in particular, like whether you've got gaming PCs, your smart TVs, etc., iPads, not everyone has access to that. And this is not just a UK problem, this is a global problem, this is a global issue. And one of the things that me and Jason have been really concentrating on is around, well, how could we make this more affordable? So there's a lot of incentives out there where maybe governments are getting involved with providing things like iPads. Super expensive to provide iPads out at scale, when there is so much more out there that gives us the opportunity to still learn, or our children to be able to learn. And one of the ones in particular has been around Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi, for those that don't know, there's so much content out there, but those small mini computers, those being able, and everyone in the IT industry knows about these. We use them for little projects, little smart home stuff. And I think the issue is that we're not getting that information out to our friends and family at the wider scale. So one of the things that we were looking at was, well, is it actually doable to use one of these small devices that ultimately is the size of a credit card but maybe a little bit deeper, plug it into your power source, plug it into your TV. Let's hope that most households have some sort of TV, and be able to actually consume and use this. And we started off by looking at the Raspberry Pi, the 4 in particular, and well, that gives you a platform, it gives you an operating system, it gives you a web browser, it gives you access to things like YouTube, and it gives you access to web browsers. But you could use that to ultimately access a lot of your content to help teach and help with the education of your children. So, and then not so long ago, and again, this is not new, maybe just before Christmas, was the Raspberry Pi 400. So where with the Raspberry Pi, that small device, you would have needed to bring your own keyboard, bring your own mouse, bring your own TV or monitor. And although yes, very cheap and consumable, probably not ideal, because, well, people don't have access or know how to potentially buy, or want to, or have the ability to go out and buy those keyboards and mice to be able to do that. Whereas this is exactly that package, where within this package, for I believe sub £100, is your mini computer, your operating system, which sits on a small SD card, as well as your keyboard and your mouse. And it gives you that same spec really as a Pi 4, but with 4 gig of memory, which is more than enough for actually getting stuff done from a user point of view. And I think even Raspberry Pi themselves, there's so many coding type education pieces on their site, which is brilliant. And that's really the first and foremost where they come from, what they do. But I think during the pandemic, where resources are stretched, technology is not as obtainable by certain or some households, this becomes a huge benefit. Yes, it's not going to be Windows, it's not going to be the same UI that you're maybe familiar to, but I think it's important to make sure that we spread the word around what this is and what it can do. So, and within here, you've got the the actual computer, which is built into the keyboard. You've got your USB mouse, so this red and white simple USB mouse. You've got your power supply, so where it plugs in, it uses a USB-C connector to connect to the keyboard into your wall outlet. You've got your SD card, which contains your operating system. You've got the HDMI cable that connects to your TV, and then you've got a book in here, a beginner's guide. But also, just looking at the UI, so you've got a network adapter, you've got USB ports, so you could plug in USB drives to transfer data between multiple ones of these if you've got more than one child in your household. I just think the premise of why we're bringing this up is that, yes, we're all aware of this in the IT world, but are the majority of other people, if the government are giving out iPads and spending that amount of money on devices, then I feel like this needs to be mentioned. Yes, it's not the same as it's not the same as an iPad, but I would argue that functionality wise you can get quite a lot done. There's also additional peripherals that you can bolt onto this if you require a camera, if you require other devices to make your day-to-day like work. But if you look at, like, so my son's school, they're using Microsoft Teams. That is available all web-based. Using a web browser, we should be able to do this, and that's one of the things that we intend to do as well, is actually run through and test whether this is feasible for that home learning experience. Not just me and Jason potentially saying this, but actually doing and seeing what the art of the possible is on that front. But yeah, the whole point of the video is just hearing around households not having the ability or having to share devices. That's the biggest one. Having to share phones, that to do homeschooling, that is not the experience that our children need to have. And I feel like as a technologist in our industry, in the IT industry, I feel like we should be highlighting these smaller devices. This is not just this one, but there's many out there. This just comes in a nice cheap bundle or a nice affordable bundle that can leverage existing home devices to be able to do more. Yeah, with that, comment down below if you'd like to see more detail, maybe opening it up, looking inside. But yeah, with that, thanks for watching.